News that's coming in at the moment. Amid the diplomatic face-off, it is the MEA that has slammed Canada. India calls Canada charges as absurd and baseless. The MEA in a statement has said it was conveyed in a note that the government of India protests in the strongest terms to the absurd and baseless references made to the Union Home Minister of India before the committee by the Defence Deputy. In fact, the revelation that high Canadian officials deliberately leaked unfounded insinuations to the international media as part of the conscious strategy to discredit India and influence the other nations only confirms the view that the government of India has long held about the current Canadian government's political agenda and behavioural pattern. Such irresponsible actions will have very serious consequences for the bilateral ties between India and Canada. This is India that has now made a statement. The MEA, that is the Ministry of External Affairs, that has come out with a statement. Let's listen in.
It was conveyed in the note that the Government of India protests in the strongest terms to the absurd and baseless references made to the Union Home Minister of India before the committee by Deputy Minister David Morrison. In fact, the revelation that high Canadian officials deliberately leak unfounded insinuations to the international media as part of a conscious strategy to discredit India and influence other nations only confirms the view Government of India has long held about current Canadian government's political agenda.
Our Foreign Affairs editor Geeta Mohan is now joining me on the story. Geeta, now we are seeing a very stern and a very categorical statement has been made by the Ministry of External Affairs, going to the extent of saying that these kind of conversations, these kind of statements will actually now have very serious consequences for the bilateral ties.
Well, absolutely. It is not just the fact that India has taken a very strong objection, but also that the Canadian High Commission representative in New Delhi was summoned and a diplomatic note has been handed over with reference to the proceedings that are ongoing in Ottawa. And India has not only lodged a very strong protest, but also has called the entire report absurd and baseless with regards to the Union Home Minister of India, and has said that these unfounded insinuations that they're seeking to discredit India and influence other nations will only confirms that the Canadian government has a political agenda and there will be consequences, like you rightly pointed out. So yes, the Indian side has almost warned Ottawa of consequences to bilateral ties should they continue with their so-called political agenda, is what the MEA is referring to it as, by naming high-level officials of the Modi cabinet.
Thank you, Geeta Mohan, for putting everything in perspective. Now, after Canada targeted Indian government, it is the Ministry of External Affairs that has come out with a very stern message for Canada.